Today we have a special guest. We have a man who was actually canceled. This man would have been a billionaire and they canceled him. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about everything that came into it. But before we do, Carlos, tell the people who you are and just give them a general overview of what you do.
How you doing, my brother? Well, listen, I am Carlos. I am 33 since 3 days ago, actually. And,
age 33, correct?
Yeah, now I'm 33, and
good, right there, brother.
This whole ordeal when I was 15 years old. There you go. When I was 15 years old, I started doing all kinds of companies, and investing my money, losing it, winning it. I lived 1,000 lives in one life. I've lived all over the world. I've lived in LA, New York, Austin, Germany, France, Spain, London. I've lived everywhere, and I've seen everything that the world has to offer. And that means that I have also lived very fast. I also have a child. I mean, I've lived very, very quick, and yeah, that leads me to where I am today, which is I'm sitting here in Dubai with my brother and my other brother, which also happens to be our assistant and do everything for us, doing all kinds of businesses as I've always done, and living life to the fullest, enjoying every second.
Of all the places you've been, besides Dubai, give me the top 3.
Well, I gotta tell you, Dubai is definitely by far the.
That's what I said. Besides Dubai, Dubai is paradise. Dubai was founded in the snake year, so we know it's good. So besides Dubai, give me top 3. You've been everywhere.
Bro, I'm allergic to socialists. So my problem with
we'll get along very well.
No, but really, I'm really allergic, my bro. Like, so I would normally say. I enjoy New York because of the ambitious, type of people that you will be meeting there. And there's always a lot of opportunity in terms of business and the like. I used to like LA for the same reason. It's just, I'm somebody that thrives when it's time to conquer, and you can conquer. When you play poker with an ace and a queen, ace and a king, like when you play with the best cards is when I enjoy life the most. And of course, those countries in those cities that, have the most amount of billionaires around you and really successful people around you will give you the best hand to play poker with. So yeah, I would say any place in Europe just fucking sucks if your intent is to conquer the world. I always say Europe is to spend the money, not to make it.
Okay. When it comes to LA and New York, I think what you're describing, you would have liked in the 80s and the 90s. That's when they had that culture. When Donald Trump was over there in the real estate market, that was a whole different ballgame. That was actually capitalism. This is not capitalism anymore, so you can't really judge. I got to be honest with you. Down here in Miami, capitalism still exists. It still exists here in Miami. Anyways.
Yeah, I would say ever since COVID, Miami became the place to be, actually. All the billionaires from New York that I know, at least, literally just moved there within their homes that already had, or bought homes there, and party there is good. It's just that place lacks the depth that I would look for in a place. But actually, I think Miami is probably the best place in America right now.
I agree.
I would say if your goal is to conquer the world, live a nice life, and have a nice circle of people, probably Miami tends to be the number one place overall,
Miami was founded in the year of the monkey. America was founded in 1776, year of the monkey. It makes sense a monkey city will thrive in an American country, which was founded under monkey energy. Speaking of that, my friend, you are born 6/15/1990. You are a 4 life path, and you're also born in the year of the horse. And what that tells me is you're an extremely hardworking man. Do you ever rest? How many companies do you actually run? Do you take days off? Tell us everything.
Okay, so that's incredibly accurate. I ever since I can work, I work. And I always say I'm working all the time, because even when I'm not working, even if I'm on a date or I'm with my brother enjoying the beach, or I'm doing something that has nothing to do with work, either I'm doing it so that I can work better later, so I'm just recharging, or I am digesting something that just happened and I need to digest for, just to make the right decision, or I'm thinking about work and only about work. So even when I'm not working, I am working. So it's this 24/7 thing.
Constantly thinking about that bag.
Every single time.
Is that the mindset it takes? Because you were almost there at that billionaire level. I know billionaires, they're all hungry as hell. So is that the mindset it takes?
Yes, 100%, brother. I don't think it's possible to be a billionaire at this point in time unless you just live for the bag. I really think, and by the way, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, I enjoy it so much. I'm considering myself so fucking happy, bro. And that is because chasing that bag.
Of course you're happy. You got a big bag.
Yeah, I was happy when I had nothing, bro. I grew up eating 50-cent lasagnas, and I was as happy. Okay, maybe not as happy as now, because now I have access to everything I want in life. But I was very happy back then, and I'm very happy right now. But what keeps me happy is to always have something to work towards, you know? So, you know, what you said, as a result of what happened, and we'll talk about that later, I think, but as a result of what happened, my path to billionaire just maybe takes a little longer, or not, because ever since that shit happened, the amount of different paths that opened for me to become a billionaire even earlier than I initially thought would be possible is astronomical. And that is why, because I am always thinking about how to conquer. And nowadays, conquest is not about physical conquest of villages and go there and burn the place down. And no, not right now. Conquest is about...
You can't raid and pillage anymore, can you?
You can't raid... Exactly. You can't raid a village anymore. So the only way to raid a village is create companies, make money, show to other men, and this is what I'm driven by, to show to other men that I am better than them. And it's almost like a mini game for me. I enjoy it, really.
Wow, you tell the truth, don't you? You're what they call a true terrorist. You're over there. So this man wants you to know he is better than you. But in a sense, what he's trying to do is motivate you to be better than himself, because if you're at this man's level, he can't talk down to you. But you got to get there first, correct?
That's exactly right, brother. That's exactly right.
You know, a lot of people in this world, and especially the younger generation, they all have egos. You have an ego. I have an ego. But we earned it. We're the best at our chosen profession. Other people, these young kids growing up, I got no problem with ego. Just do something first. That's it. You got to do brother, something first.
Right now, ego is so looked down upon. And I think it's because those in power just don't want you to have ego. But I think the best thing you can do to better the world is to have ego. And I say that from a position of someone that I am just as ambitious as I am humble, right? So on one end, I know I am the number one. On the other hand, I know in order to remain the number one, I have to continue learning from people that know more than me about certain topics, right? And so that combination of both is what I think, and that is the healthy ego that I think everybody needs, you know? You cannot make the world a better place if you don't make yourself better. You cannot make the world a better place if you don't have insane amounts of self-respect. You can't make the world a better place unless you look the part, you dress the part. That's the way I think about life. You speak the part, you conquer the part, you know? I think that everything is part of the same concept, you know, that you have to follow consistently.
One thing I always tell people is no poor man ever changed the world while he was alive. Those are straight facts.
That's very true.
You know, some people did it after they died. They became martyrs, but no poor man ever changed the world while he was alive. And what that basically means is if you have a passion to do something, get that bag first, and then you can fulfill your passion. That's the logical way of going about things. Would you not agree?
That's completely right, brother. That's completely right. And I would say, you know, many people think that ego equals arrogance, but actually arrogance, when somebody is arrogant, they actually lack the ego necessary to not be arrogant. Let me explain why. Somebody that's arrogant automatically believes that there's nothing they can improve on, or just don't want to take any feedback or criticism. And somebody that doesn't want to take feedback, criticism, or to improve, automatically you automatically know he doesn't have enough self-respect, because somebody that doesn't question constantly their belief system or doesn't question constantly where they can improve on will not be number one. So when somebody
at least not for long
it's not going to stay for long. That is a fact, you know. So I don't believe in arrogant people. In fact, I try to stay away from them as much as possible. But I have learned to differentiate very well what is the kind of guy that tends to be very mouthful. I don't know if that's a word. Like, just likes to talk a lot. Some people like to talk a lot, but they still have their ego in check and they still have the knowledge to back it up. These people I trust.
Okay.
But people that just speak big, doesn't take any criticism, when they hear a different mindset, they don't even try to open their mind to see what they can improve on. I think these people don't stay on top for too long.
Okay, let me ask you a few questions before we start going a little bit more personal, a little bit more into your life and your history. I know quite a few billionaires. You definitely know quite a few billionaires. There's about 3,300 billionaires worldwide on any given time. Take 100, give or take. Do you know any billionaires who are very humble?
I think the word humility is understood by the world different than I understand it, right? I think that somebody humble is somebody, in my eyes, that is always willing to learn from someone else, always.
That's definitely not the definition, brother. That is not the definition.
What's the definition?
So here's basically what I'm trying to say. When there's two type of people who the world consists of as egotistical, and people who believe they are extremely humble. From what I have perceived from talking on the phone to various people, from going to dinner with various people of that stature, almost everyone at the 10-figure level, the billionaire level, has an ego, and a very, very healthy ego, I might add. They're willing to learn from others. Here's the difference. The people who got their money, who are trust fund babies, they're not the same. It's the first generation who made that money, who's hungry. They're willing to learn. The trust fund babies, not so much. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Well, basically, I think the worst thing that can happen to a man is to grow with a father that gives them everything, and once the father dies, it all goes to the children. I think that's the worst thing a man can have in his life, because before becoming a man, to have that amount of cash that you have not earned yourself is very dangerous. Like, those people end up gambling it all, or addicted to drugs, paying for sex, and doing all kinds of pathetic shit that end up alcoholics or whatever it is. All of it pathetic.
Would you do what Donald Trump's dad do? Would you do what Trump's dad did? Send him to military school?
Well, how I take care of my children will be very special to me and what I believe in. My children, my little boys, will be doing karate and all kinds of combat sports. Maybe judo or stuff like that early on. They will not get shit from me. The only thing they will get is my knowledge. I will be very happy to show them the ways from the moment they are 12 years old onwards. They will do all kinds of jobs for me for free. They will be my little slaves, and they have to be okay with it. And that's how it works. And when they are old enough, they're still not going to get money from me. They will learn how to make their own life, because I would hate myself for taking away their ability to make themselves from almost nothing. Because there is nothing more beautiful for a man than to be self-made. I walk through life with an insane amount of pride. And it's not fake pride. It's actually true pride. I deployed what my parents taught me and my own experiences, and I built myself up from nothing. And that level of pride cannot be accomplished through anything else in life. So why would I take that away from my children? That would be terrible.
What about daughters? Would you treat your daughters the same way?
No. Maybe it's a mistake, but I don't think it is. I think that, man's energy and woman's energy are very different.
Correct.
And what I would consider a successful man and what I would consider a successful woman would imply very different things. A successful man is somebody that wants to conquer the world, is ambitious, is always looking for the next thing. Even when they have everything, they want more. Is somebody that is also, has his emotions in check. It's a different kind of energy. Woman's energy is much more emotional, up and down. It's like a butterfly, that just flies everywhere and enjoys life. And the least amount of problems, my daughters go through before the real problems come, the better. That's why I would like them to grow up having everything money can buy and enjoying life in its maximum form, among other reasons, because I don't want them to end up being with some fucking loser that that is unable to build a family with them and take care of them.
I get it. You know, one thing I always tell people is I don't really pray to God or anything. I know there's a God. I just don't pray. I know he's out there. But one thing I'm very thankful for is I don't have daughters and I have 2 sons. Because if I actually had a daughter and she looked anything like her mother, I would have a chastity belt around this girl. I have the key around my neck, and it would be Mortal Kombat. So that's one of the things I'm really thankful for, that I do not have a daughter. But yes, I probably would treat my daughter differently than I would treat my sons. I have noticed one thing. I have noticed one thing. I've noticed a lot of good women come from very wealthy families, very respectable, not like the whores you see in the average Western culture, but very respectable people. I've also seen very poor women, but they weren't westernized. They were usually from, a predominantly Muslim country or something like that, where they actually instill values, or maybe a country in the West that's very religious and Christian, but the main countries like France, no.
You know what